I'm Julie Smithson, and again, I'm co-founder of XR Women, as well as my own company, which is Metaverse 3D game engine for the spatial web. As everybody knows, with turning the terminology of definition of what we do into a spatial computing term, that's changed a lot of business conversations and marketing and what we call each other and why we're here, and so much has changed, don't you think, Robin?
Yeah, it's been very exciting for us. Those of us who have been in for a long time have bantered around the word spatial computing because it is the overarching term. Like, this is everything. But it was hard to understand. People, it's a mouthful. It doesn't tell you exactly what it is, but also it exactly what it is. So the fact that we've taken these baby steps from augmented reality to virtual reality to mixed reality, and now we're in this bigger zone, means that people that are in different sides of the business in spatial computing, in this vast landscape, in the Web3 side to the apps that are like the deep spatial computing apps, we're all in business, and we've all known this for a very long time. But this draws a bigger circle around all of us, and it just makes it easier for everyone to say, listen, this is all the way that we're moving from an adoption curve standpoint. We're all moving to spatial computing. This is how we're going to interact with computers in the future. It's how we're doing it for years, and we're very excited to have other people join us on this journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of interesting because the term spatial computing, I think, is starting to bring everybody together more. Mm-hmm. And the positivity, I think, that we need to draw is that even I felt, and I've been doing this for a long time, my background, going way back into what I did for school, is hospitality. I've been working in immersive technology since 2010, and it was always slowed. You're doing VR, and you're doing XR, you're doing MR, you're doing AR. And now it's, and no wonder there's so much disjointment in companies right now as they're trying to figure out, they had an innovation department that dealt with all of these different things. And now this spatial computing is an umbrella term for everything that's happening in business. So I think that the perception also of what's happening in the ecosystem and whether or not people are being let go, and we're collapsing this team, this innovation team over here. And for me, I see it as it's actually the innovation, the technology is starting to spread across all departments, right? And you've got the marketing team that needs to deal with technology now, and you have the sales team that needs to deal with technology, as well as and C-suite, and even financial teams are dealing with technology. So, innovation teams that seem to be crumbling around us, I think they're starting to spread out. And, that's a great thing because it means mainstream. And Apple coming in with this term spatial computing is also saying to everybody, okay, this is the umbrella term. And yes, we're going to deploy it with VR, and we're going to deploy it on a mobile device and mixed reality glasses, and et cetera, et cetera. But again, just like I said, it's coming back to something that we've always done, and it's getting into the roots. It's spatial computing. And now our job being in this ecosystem is to teach everybody and educate everybody about spatial awareness. This is something that I've personally truly been passionate about for a long time, is the lack of, what we need is 3D learning, and start to become aware of what we're designing beyond a 2D square or rectangle that we're so used to, TVs and newspapers and signs and books.
PowerPoint.
And now we have a different thought. Yeah, we have a new thought process, right? And it's spatial.
We've got to get out of PowerPoint learning. We've got to get out of 2D flat learning. And, some people are skeptical because television was supposed to be the wave of the future for education. But the problem is it was still passive. You were still just sitting there watching somebody else do something, learn something, and they were just talking at you. And that's what we've changed fundamentally here. When we're in spatial computing and we're teaching something with proper instructional design in an actual mixed reality environment with the objects in front of you, and you're touching and grabbing them, and you're these motions, you're the one that's learning. You're the one that's mastering the skills. That is going to revolutionize the world. Anyone could learn anything, anytime, anywhere. And people are seeing this. As Julie said, each department of places are starting to go, how can I leverage this? How can I use a piece of this technology that'll work for me? And sometimes it's obvious in manufacturing floor, no brainer. I don't want someone to be called Three-Finger Joe. I want to make sure that they don't get hurt on the manufacturing floor. So let's make sure they actually understand the lockout tagout procedure. Or medical. Again, it's so easy to think about those applications, but there's also applications in financial and understanding data analysis and research. My gosh, research. There's so many applications in research and design, and it just goes on and on. One way that we're starting to move the needle now, I say, is by hitting some of the areas where consumers are, which is also what Apple's doing, is bringing and introducing you, entertainment. I have spatial audio. We've had this library of spatial audio for years we've been working on. You're exposed to it. Now you understand it. And to start to pull everybody in, just like we did with the computer revolution, just like we did with the iPhone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I sometimes I actually say, it's a time to take a step into our computers, right? And that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're taking a step into the Z dimension, which only we kind of get that. It's not really consumer language, but that's what we're doing. And when we work from our studio with our clients, and we say, when we into the world that we're designing for you, what does it look like? Not just in front of you, but beside you, around you, behind you. And a lot of design firms and marketing teams haven't got there in that thinking process. And it's changing, obviously. People are being exposed to it. But when you start to create an immersive experience, those kind of questions, as well as, branding and aligning the brand to the experience as well as the user journey, there's a lot of work put into there. Spatial computing and, where teams are at, where executive level is at in understanding this is going to be new. And one of the things that I've had a couple of conversations on, Robin, is the executive levels are going to learn pretty quickly what the term spatial computing is, because it's the only way that you can now apply for having your experience on the Vision Pro, right? And that's what stirred us up, is they don't want us to use terms of VR or AR or XR. They want it to be defined as spatial computing. So hence the reason why we're seeing such a burst of this term, as well as everybody leveraging that knowledge in knowing that's where the budget line is also going to hit, because it needs to be defined as a spatial computing application now. So, spatial computing, let's go. We've been in this industry for so long.
The budget line is such a great piece of information too, because if you say I need money for a spatial computing app, you're not actually defining what it is in that moment, which gives you the opportunity to define it later on. So yeah, it might actually be a virtual reality situation, because I need to train nurses in a hospital that hasn't been built yet. Obviously, that has to be virtual reality. Alternately, be that, we're here, we could set stuff up in this room, and then I could mix reality. But to get the budget approved, you're not caught up in the minutia of the design. You just want to get a pile of money so you can figure out how to best leverage the technology to provide the cost savings and the results and everything that you want to get out of it, without getting just in the terms. Because we saw a lot of that. We've seen that a lot. Like, you want to make an augmented reality app? Like, yeah, maybe it isn't. Maybe in the end, it isn't. Maybe it's virtual reality. Maybe maybe it's mixed reality. But let's not get caught up. Let's just move forward.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be deployed, which also obviously builds that user. Some of the design elements don't change when you're dealing with, an experience, and then whether it has VR or it's a mobile or a desktop or a tablet device experience. Some of those things don't change, but as we move towards web-based solutions, optimization and how they will be optimized will be a huge piece. There's also a term that I know a lot of people don't quite know what this term means, but they're going to need to, and it's the term interoperability. Our community knows this, but I've been in conversations where somebody goes, "What does that mean?" And it's really the key to unlocking a fully immersed experience on the spatial web, right? And oops, sorry, I dropped my controller there. Interoperability means a whole bunch of different connections that give the user an experience that's fluid, that is connected. And, this is where we start to add
and
AI.
If you want that experience, right? It's kind of like going on a trip.
Do.
Like if you decide I'm going to go backpack around Europe. Cool. I'm going to bring my stuff with me. Yeah, I've got my wallet and my outfits and all of these things. I can take them with me because I put them in my backpack. In the metaverse, you could have this backpack in this metaverse and that backpack in that metaverse and that one over here. It's very confusing, and your avatar, everything is different in every metaverse right now because of the lack of interoperability. And when we can transcend that, then you'll be able to make those choices. Sure, you might want to wear a really fancy, outrageous outfit. You might even want to be a horse. I mean, you could be anything you want to be here in the metaverse, but that needs to be your choice. Sometimes when you're dealing with business, we oftentimes make our characters in a lot of metaverse kind of like us, because we want people to be able to find us in the real world. Sometimes they just want to be something different too. But I want the choice. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to take my outfit that I purchased it over in your mall, and I might have purchased something over there. I want to be able to wear it here and engage. I can't do that today. So we got a little time for that.
That's future. And I think for today, and like just start creating your verse, start creating a space. And, it's funny because the term training, I've done a lot of work with training. One of our big clients was Siemens Healthineers, and we transformed 28 hematology machines into training labs that was integrated into an LMS system. And the application of training now is actually transforming more straight out education, because the actual machines itself are actually changing now and instructing them how to use them because they're different. So the term training, I think, is actually really interesting, because it's turning into more of a knowledge share or education split, or leveling up because things are so different. Is a perfect example in education of how to keep building. But retail is another one. Marketing and sales, financial, sales rooms or reporting rooms, things like that, where data visualization comes into play. There's so many different applications for this.
And that's the thing is, we in this business, we look at the world differently. We look at every interaction as an opportunity for spatial computing applications. Because why in the world are you handing me a giant manual when I buy my new vehicle? You should give me the operating. Here's the car. It's in 3D space. What would happen if I open this up? Oh, what's all this? I should learn about all this before I purchase the vehicle. I should be able to figure out what's wrong. I should be able to go in there and say, this thing's broke. Click a button. Avatar pops in from the actual repair shop. They actually tell me something. Oh yeah, that's no big deal. You just got to reset that sensor. You can imagine any scenario where we can together, where we can show them spatially how something operates, what's wrong with something. And it's quite easy to imagine this. It's not going to take long before the rest of the world starts to see things this way. You should be upset by sitting at your computer and hunching over and like scraping through information on websites of something that you have pop in front of you and visually see it and spin it around and interact with it. You should absolutely be upset about that. You should be upset by the fact that your neck is and you have carpal tunnel. We should not be interacting with computers this way. We should be using our hands. We should be doing things and swiping and interacting just the ways that we stand up straight. That's better for us. It's better health for us to do this. And this is coming from a person that's been on computers since I was a little tiny child. And I'm addicted to computers. Absolutely love it. But at the same time, we can do better. And this is human evolution. We're always striving to make better things, do cooler stuff, and learn and always evolve into the next layer, the next technology. The far future someday just be brain computer interfaces for everybody. That's going to take a while. This is the next critical step right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And building efficiency. That's what my thought process before was, just building efficiencies. And this is where we're going to see every single department start to enter into the AI space, and then applying AI into these spatial designs and immersive designs, to increase productivity. And this is where we're really going to see the changes of how things are going to happen.